for when people have disposable income. So they're reliant on people having disposable income. So anything that can affect that is not good. Social.
Don't read my
Population.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Population-based, changing demographics. Okay, think about our ageing population. That's one of the easiest ones. You know, we have this ageing population where all our baby boomers are actually getting to retirement age and we haven't got as many young people coming through replacing them. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got more immigrants coming in, yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
4.8 million.
So if we've got an ageing population, what happens to demand for skiing?
They need to target at a different ages?
Yeah.
Target different age. Yeah, people probably
Start
start
them
to
young,
drop off skiing at a certain point.
Yeah.
Or else we have to change the products and services that are available for
Yeah,
that
this
particular
demand.
age group. Maybe we offer a,
What senior discount?
senior, most, yeah,
Go, guys.
most good. Yeah.
And that's
After you've broken your
emotional.
Skiing store.
How could you cater to the needs of older skiers?
Okay, spa.
A spa.
Ski
Cool.
school.
Yeah.
I like
A
that.
head for a instructor.
Or if the impact is that we've got more immigrants coming in, do they ski? And if they ski, then do they have particular demands or preferences that we could cater to? Do we need a noodle shop next door, not a cafe?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I couldn't believe they're 4.8 million in growing.
Is that our population? Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh,
I used to
the
think it
younger
was
ones where I live, they're all
3.5.
my neighbours.
But a majority of it is in Auckland, obviously. They're not, it's just not filtering down.
Okay, technological. We talked a little bit about technological, didn't we? But
Availability of formula.
online, yeah. Smartphones,
Data planes, like you
data plans. This trend to, have Fitbits and tracking your health and things like that. We could link in and have your own app. The store could have its own app. Yeah. Monitor your ski days with, what's the name of the ski shop?
Good question. I don't think they said, did they?
But being aware of changes in the technology, if you're still selling the same old skis 10 years later, it's time to renew them, right? You need to be looking at what's the latest innovations in the product, because that's
Hover
what people
skis.
demanding. Yeah, hover skis, cool, why not? Split skis. Right, so let's carry on, we've got a little bit more to do, and then we'll just have a look at the assignment and make sure you feel like you can have a go at it. Okay. The other, I mentioned before about with the internal organisation culture that it can be seen as sort of adaptive or entrepreneurial or more administrative. And this is called the Organisation Opportunity Matrix, which allows you to look a little bit, basically to assess the internal environment in terms of culture. Okay, so this is the third tool that you are going to use in the assessment, is the Organisation Opportunity Matrix, and it's on page 87.
What's this
This is the assessment.
Is it
that I've-
one
yeah,
here?
that's-
Oh, this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with this particular one, essentially what you do is analyse the organisation in terms of its desire for change. Is there a desire for change? So think about the ski shop. Do they have a desire for change?
Yep.
Yes, they do. All right, so we give them a yes for that. And then their belief in the capacity to influence the competitive environment. Okay, this is thinking about... I'm not talking to you, Siri.
Oh my god, that's weird.
I accidentally summoned Siri. Okay, right, freaky. Technological.
Yeah.
Your belief belief in the capacity to influence the competitive environment. What we're talking about there is, do you think you can actually influence, that environment that you're operating in to some extent or another in order to be more competitive? So based on our conversation that we've had as the new managers of the ski shop, do you believe that you've got some capacity to influence that environment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would think so.
You think so? There are some specific things that you guys have identified that you can do that will, perhaps open up some of those opportunities for the business. So if you get a yes and a yes, you are adaptive entrepreneurial organisation. We brainstormed a whole lot of cool ideas for the ski shop. We're going to make some cool entrepreneurial changes that are going to ensure that it succeeds into the future. Make sense? You're adaptive and entrepreneurial. These are the key words: innovation and entrepreneurship. Everything is all about innovation and entrepreneurship these days, because things are changing so fast. They're looking for ideas and being able to adapt with those. Now, I mentioned before that organisations that aren't, looking around at the environment to see what's happening are relatively complacent. They're just going to sit on their laurels and hope for the best. Okay? And this is where there's no particular desire for change. They might believe that they've got some ability to adapt their environment, and so in which case they continue to be sort of successful in what they're doing, but they don't necessarily, seek out change necessarily. So they tend to be complacent. If you've got a desire for change, but you don't actually believe you have much capacity to change the environment, you're what's called a reactive planner. Okay? So a reactive planner essentially, you're just responding to what's happening rather than thinking ahead. Yeah, no, you're not being proactive, you're just being reactive. You're responding to things as they come up, as you have to change. Does that make sense? Yeah? No?
So you're reacting in that.
You're reactive instead of proactive. So a change, so people, a change.
You know what you
So
have to
planned
instead of
for it,
actually
you're just
doing
acting in the
it.
now. Is that
You're
what you
acting in the
Yeah.
now. You're
Yeah.
responding to the changes as they come up, rather than thinking
Planning,
ahead and
yeah.
planning for those changes.
Yeah.
Okay? So all of a sudden, everybody wants to use FPOS when they come into the shop. Oh dear, we'd better install an FPOS machine instead of just dealing with cash. Okay? That's, you're being reactive rather than proactive and thinking ahead. If you're being proactive and thinking ahead, you'd install a paid wave machine. Yeah? Right off the bat. And then a bureaucratic and lethargic organisation. We know about this negative term that bureaucracy has come to sort of encompass, but we're talking here about where you've got no desire for change and no belief in your ability to change. So essentially, change does not happen fast or if at all. And
then we renew.
there we go. You can think of an example. Brilliant. But yeah, these organisations eventually either undergo significant change or they die.
Yeah, you find they do a big whole restructure
Yeah.
all at once.
All at once, or they just peter off.
Yeah.
There is a life cycle of a business, just like a tadpole has a life cycle and we have a life cycle. A business has a life cycle. Okay, it takes off, it starts slow, takes off a bit, plateaus out, may grow a little bit more if it can adapt and change, or decline.
This is in our small business.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What's a complacent one? What was that?
complacent is
Yeah.
where you don't necessarily have a desire for change, but you are still responsive to, you still believe that you can influence that environment if you need to. So you tend to think everything's okay as it is.
And adaptive, that obviously
But
goes to change.
But you still manage to
I'm just trying to think of another active word for the complacent one, because you've got proactive, reactive, inactive.
Inactive, yeah, inactive could be bureaucratic and lethargic.
And I'm just trying to think of one for the complacent one.
Complacent. I don't know. Oh, that's a good task here. Just go and think of some possible other terms.
Bring
Yes.
that to course
So this one, allows you to analyse that internal culture a little bit in terms of how people are within the organisation. And just thinking about that desire for change and whether they seem to have a belief in their ability to influence the change. And then the last one, model that you don't need this one necessarily in your assessment, but it's useful to know that it is a model that is widely known. It's a tool that's widely known to have, and it gives you a bit of insight into the strengths and weaknesses of your organisation.
The phone's probably not that flash, is it?
No,
I'm
sorry.
trying to find
What's
the
it
book.
I think the tone is going on there. It's not in the book, but if you Google value chain analysis, you'll see it. You don't need it right now, but it's just to give you an idea of the sorts of things you can use to help identify the strengths and the weaknesses of the organisation. Okay, so with the value chain analysis, this was made popular by Michael Porter in a book called Competitive Advantage, Creating and Sustaining Superior Performance. And essentially with the value chain analysis, you analyse all of the primary activities and the support activities to see how they are adding value to the finished product and the product or service essentially. So you're doing a step-by-step analysis of all of the activities involved and trying to see how extra value can be added in some way. Okay, so that through that analysis you identify the strengths and you identify what the weaknesses are. So just bear in mind that the SWOT analysis that we looked at can get a lot more complicated than just jotting down a few bullet points of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats like we did. I think in that small business book, Sarah, have you got the book for small business?
Yep.
I think in there's a really detailed SWOT analysis for a business where you rank everything, you weight the importance of it. Go and have a look.
Okay.
Yeah, like a SWOT, with a SWOT analysis, you could actually, you can identify all these things, you can rank them, you can weight the importance, you can get really sort of more quantitative about the whole process to see how it plays out.
So with the value chain one,
Yeah.
did you say that we do the opportunity matrix one?
Yeah.
Do we do that on each? So we do it on the inbound logistics,
You don't
we
need
do
to
it on
do
the
this.
operation?
No.
Ah.
You don't need to do this. Have a look at the assessment that I handed out to you. Assessment 2. So you've got about a month, 4th of October. But this, just under.
Scully's,
This is worth 35%, okay? So it is including learning outcomes 3, 4 and 5.
oh, I know Roger Scully, I got this done.
Good. You've got learning outcome 3 is what we've covered today. So what I would suggest you do is you go away and work on the section
Read
for
that.
learning outcome 3 and get started on that. And then next week we'll do learning outcome 4 and then you can work on that. And then the week after we'll do learning outcome 5 and you can work on that. So there's a case study. Got to read that. Scully and his scallops. And then, now if you want me to email you through the Word version so you can type in the boxes, that's fine, I can do that. Or you can just type it up in your own document and it's fine. But what I need you to do is a pest analysis, a SWOT analysis, and look at each of those different areas. So each
So the
element.
bottom one is the pest one though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right. Make sure, so identify, think of a strength, think of a weakness, think of an opportunity, think of a threat, and explain the impact for Scully scallops. That's the second part. So you get 1 mark for the strength, and then 1 mark for the impact on the Scully scallops. Okay, 1 mark for the weakness, 1 mark for the impact. Same with all of those boxes. You don't have to come up with multiple different things, just at least one thing in each box.
We haven't quite done this one, have we?
And then for question 2, think of, this is really still about the internal and analysing the internal aspect of the organisation, the human, the financial, the physical, the technological and the information systems.
Yeah.
So what evidence can you see in the case study of the human resources that they have, or the financial resources that they have, or the physical resources, or the technological resources, or the information systems? Okay? And explain how that could help with organisational performance. Think about it. Then, question 3, use the organisation opportunity matrix that we just looked at to analyse the type of culture that has developed at Scully's Scallops. Okay? Is it sort of administrative or entrepreneurial? So just, I didn't put it in one of those boxes and then justify it why, and then go on to tell me how does that culture affect the organisation's performance.
Sort of same answer for that one. Just skim over.
What is that? Identify it and then.
Yeah, just what's written there. So, using that matrix, decide where in that box it sits. Where in the box does Scully's Scallops sit? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Or is it here? Have a look at the case study and work out, is there a desire for change, yes or no? Do they seem to believe in their capacity to influence the environment, yes or no? And then put them in a box.
And which one's administrative and which one's entrepreneurial? Administrative would be the ones that are just not doing anything about it.
Administrative tended to be more bureaucratic, and entrepreneurial was more entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Right.
Right. I'm not even going to talk through the next section. We can talk through that at the next class when we.
We've done that. Did we do that in business communications? The immoral.
Oh yeah. We did.
We don't have the book though, do we?
No. I've got my notes.
That's okay. We're going to do it again next week. But any questions about that assessment? Go away and do it while it's fresh in your mind. Hopefully it's not too onerous.
Oh,
Okay? But I want you to, you're going to need to think about it and apply it to this case study. Again, it's not just about, telling you what a piece analysis is. You have to actually think about, what is the old piece in relation to Scully's and Scallops.
Oh, task. Nigga. Task. Nigga. No, because I'll come back and I'll be like,
Tracy, are you okay with that? Great.
she's lying.
Alright. Well done everybody, that is us for tonight. Next week, Ethics, Social Responsibility, Chapter 4.